So if you never argue, do you really love that person?
Come on.
That's what I heard before. If I have a woman that I'm madly in love with, we have been dating 10 years, never got in any argument, not once.
That's crazy.
Why is it crazy?
You should be married. You agree with everything I said? You didn't put a ring on that.
Isn't that a red flag?
Well, you right now. Wait, you're always happy?
Listen.
Are you kidding me?
But that's not ideal.
Why?
Like that conscious shit.
I'm Libra.
I'm the Aries,
And this is the libraries.
Why do people who love each other, who live with each other, who initially were infatuated and saw, like, you meet somebody new, it's like, oh my gosh, I love her, I like her.
Yep.
How does that turn into arguing with somebody that you love? That's crazy to me. Now, you can disagree, but what happened to, we agree to disagree? Like,
Might not be intentional at first. And maybe because they're projecting their own feelings on you. If you had a frustrating day, right, whether it's you or her, you might just come off a little abrasive if you have that conversation with her, but she calls you in a happy attitude and you just not feeling it, and you just might give her some short answers, and then all of a sudden she can be like, well, I don't like your energy right now, so just call me later. And all of a sudden you're like, it's not even about you. Boom. Like,
you just worked all day, you're driving home, she's trying to talk about her.
You heard some bad
life,
news, and she's
why
trying
are you being short? Like,
and she's
oh
not
my
picking
God,
up
I'm
the
listening to the
energy.
podcast. Like, I'm listening to the library. Let me drive
Or
home.
exactly, you might be in a business or an industry where you talk to people constantly, and maybe you just want to have that solitude. You're not trying to get encompassed with all these, honeydews and just tasks, because 9 times out of 10, right?
It's expectation is what you're saying.
There's expectation.
It's expectation, bro.
It's frustration compiled with expectations.
Women always expect things from the man, bro.
Exactly.
Always. Babe, can you do this? Babe, can you do that? Babe, can you do this? Hey, babe.
But we're not going to sit here and play the victim. At the end of the day,
No.
I get what you're saying. There's a lot of instances where trivial arguments ensue because someone feels some type of way in that moment. Because again, going back to expectations, you want this person to appreciate maybe what you're doing, or vice versa. So,
but why does that mean an argument? I can definitely understand the whole appreciation. Like, damn, I don't do this for you.
well, the difference between an argument and a debate is the fact that a debate is formal and an argument is informal, and it involves frustration and anger.
So you just built up frustration,
and it's not rationale. Most arguments are not rationale. A debate is rationale. You do
you're
it
thinking like, okay,
because
this is my point, this is my point.
Right? But a debate doesn't necessarily mean that you have to raise your voice, because an argument typically means that you raise your voice, you're getting loud, and your emotions are actually showing a lot
How
more.
do you get to that point though, bro? That's
We're
what I'm trying to figure out.
We're human beings. But why does it happen in relationships more often than friendships? Because this person knows you. They can
No, you allow it.
They can
bro.
pick you apart.
You allow it.
They can
If
pick
you
you
start arguing with somebody,
or you don't care as much about a coworker as you do about your spouse or about your significant other.
so why do people in relationships allow somebody to argue with them from the jump? Because after that first argument, whether they're inebriated or they're having a bad day, it don't matter. Why are you arguing with me? What happened? Because at first, it's all love.
It's all good just a week ago.
It's all good. All right, think about this, right? You think Barack Obama and Michelle argued?
Of course. But they never show it in public.
You'll never know. They seem like a perfect couple.
Right.
They're not arguing.
It's
Like, what?
It's the discipline that goes behind it. They're at a different level and status in life that I'm not saying
Barack smokes cigarettes. He probably on the balcony. She probably like, Barack, I told you the cigarettes are nasty, love. He's like,
Yeah,
shut up, man. Like, I know she probably got beef with him, but
yo, you ain't lying.
she would. They keep it in house, and that's the problem.
So if you never argue, because one thing I have heard before is that if you never argue with somebody that you love, do you really love that person?
Come on.
That's what I heard before.
What does
and I
that
had a question.
mean, bro?
Well, I had a question that at some point, if that never occurs, is it love?
What are you talking about?
So I have a woman that I'm madly in love with, right? And I've known her for as long as I've known you, right? And let's say that we have been dating for 10 years.
Right.
Never got in any argument, not once.
That's crazy.
Why is it
You
crazy?
should be married. You put a ring on that.
Well, no, okay, all right.
Like, you agree with everything I said?
Isn't that a red flag?
Well, you like, what the fuck? Like,
No, yeah.
come on now.
Yeah,
Like,
let me back you now.
right now.
You stay right here. Don't go never.
Wait, you're always happy?
Listen.
Are you kidding me?
But that's not ideal.
Why? That's what I want to get down to.
That's
why?
we're trying to figure that out, but I don't think that's ideal.
But
I see what you're
why?
saying.
You argue with your girl. Are you picking an
I'm
argument?
not picking an argument.
Because you don't expect it. What do
now-
you expect from your girl?
Now, if we go out somewhere, hey babe, we're going to this company party, right? I know how she is. Hey, you know, put on that little thing I like. And if I know that you don't play well with others, and I gotta check you a little bit, and you cop an attitude, and
So-
we argue about it because maybe you start thinking that I'm reading too much into it, but I know you.
Like, hey, you didn't really represent me very well tonight. This was my
Oh
comment.
yeah,
I
exactly.
told you
So
I'm up for promotion.
let's fast forward to after the fact. So like, boom.
Like, you're not saying it at the party.
I'm not. I might be biting my lip. I might be just kind of like turning.
Giving her like
you know,
kicking her under the table.
Yeah.
Like, yo.
like the nudges here and there,
Maybe.
or that side eye, or just kind of like that hard stare. If these things occur and we have a discussion in the car,
You expected something from her to represent.
it goes back to expectation.
You expected something. And she didn't fulfill those
Expectation and
expectations.
frustration. That's why an argument would ensue because.
But
you're
why?
not-
Why wouldn't you just explain like, hey, like, this is, you know, I try to warn you, I try to set you up, then you acted this way.
So this is the background
Would
on
you
that.
come cool? Because how the argument starts, in my opinion, is you expected something, they didn't. They're human beings. Let them make mistakes. She didn't do what you wanted, right? Now she either did it on purpose or she didn't know. And if she didn't know, that's when you help them grow. So you're now starting an argument because of expectations. So that might be it. Arguments stem from expectations. You expect.
Of course, but I just laid out the
But she made a
guidelines.
mistake. You never make a mistake.
I'm not saying I don't make mistakes, but I laid out the guidelines, the ground
Guidelines, what
rules,
do you-
as far as like how we gonna go about this.
I'm saying she made a mistake.
So
how,
if I
so
told
how do you go about it
okay,
now?
so are you a child now? So if I tell you, listen,
they're human
listen,
beings.
no, hold up, let's get this straight.
Yeah, they're
If-
cool.
if I tell you, listen, we about to go in here. It's like a
Damn, you talking to him like that? See now,
Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
If you're talking to your girl like that,
don't
then-
get it twisted
okay,
because it's
okay.
not going. But I'm saying if I had to get like to the point and make sure that for the sake of this
Scenario,
topic, this
yeah.
scenario, we're getting clear. It's like almost a parent talking to a child, not in that way where I'm diminishing you, where I see you lesser than. But at the end of the day, don't you expect me to lead? Right? Don't you expect me to be the man and lead in this situation? Hey, babe, listen, we're about to go
At the end of the
in.
day, people make mistakes.
And that's
No matter-
fine.
You could
That's
have given her
fine.
a perfect game plan.
It's fine.
And she made a
And
mistake.
listen, and someone at my job, that catty coworker might have ticked her off.
Right.
And I get that.
Or
And
might have gave you a hug. Hi, Bruno.
Listen.
And it's like, what the what?
And listen, I know the
And it might
conversation.
put her in a bad mood.
And I get the conversation is going to flow however it flows after the fact. All I'm simply saying is that if you can't control your emotional intelligence in a situation that I asked you to step up to,
Are you not allowed to make mistakes?
of course. But if we're talking about what we're talking about, that's how arguments ensue. Because
Yeah.
you don't agree at that point.
But
Because
it's
all of a
not-
sudden,
it's not the
I
person-
told you what it was, and you did not follow through.
But the person that had expectations is causing an argument because you're not even thinking like, dang, like I try to tell you like this is what's gonna happen, and you still didn't do it. So, do you understand what I'm talking about? Did you see
You're
what
not-
happened?
Okay,
What? That's not realistic.
it's not realistic.
Bro,
It's not-
you don't just get mad at the person like.
no one say I'm in.
You're the one causing the argument. If you had an expectation of somebody, you're the one causing the argument. How come you didn't text me today? How come you didn't call me on your way home? How come you did that? How come? It's like, damn, like, what do men expect from the woman? You're obviously ready to argue with your girl Because
I'm not ready to argue with my girl.
It's how you deliver and frame up the conversation.
Of course.
Bro.
Okay, so
We're adults. We're
we are adults.
So this is what you were saying last week. You're just trying to take the power back because you did the same exact thing I did, but now you have the upper hand. So she makes one little mistake after you had a perfect game plan. Nigga, you know how many people have perfect game plans and they don't go that way? Like,
I understand that happens.
but why argue, bro? What would that do?
Because emotion ensues.
So your emotional intelligence isn't there because now you're turned up.
But you see, if I bring up the subject at hand, I say something like, "Hey, I don't like the way you acted today," or "I don't like
that
the way
makes
you
sense.
acted."
That's not an argument.
Exactly.
Okay.
So exactly. Watch my
tonality.
tonality. Watch how I'm delivering.
Okay, let's go. I don't like the way you acted today.
Watch how I'm delivering it. Right?
Let's see.
Hey, you know what? I didn't really like the way you were.
My bad.
acting
I'm
today.
sorry. I messed up. I know you told me, but
How often does that happen though? If I come at you with
so what do you think the girl? So you're saying you're coming correct, and then they turn up? What? You don't like the way I acted? I did you a favor. Like I don't get it. Like
okay, so how long can you be calm? And then okay, all right, listen, calm
You don't
down.
like the way I acted.
Hey, calm down. Listen.
no,
Relax.
that's how arguments ensue. You calm down,
I am calm,
bro. That's the number one argument starter. Yo, calm down.
Barack knows the story. When we were engaged, I got mad at him about something, and I took my engagement ring off, and I said, "Forget this, who needs this?" And I threw the ring. We were in my car. I wasn't really throwing it out. I threw it where I would know it would go. I didn't mean it. I wasn't like, this is it. It was a fact.